Hello, Korrosive.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on, dude? You're live right now on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. How you guys doing, man?
We're great.
Hell yeah. Who all do we have?
What's up?
Who all do we have on the air with us?
We have Jack.
You got Craig.
Jack and Craig. Craig from CDN Records.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, dude? Hell yeah. So guys, we just got done blasting In the Name of Destruction from this new record, man. It's so fucking badass, dude. I mean, this is definitely, I've been telling people, man, in my opinion, dude, this is fucking one of the best thrash metal albums of this year, for sure, hands down, man.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. You guys fucking kicked ass on this shit. You always kick ass, though. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm a little bit biased, I can say, man, because I own a few of your fucking records, dude, and I love them, man. Fucking every time you put something out, I'm like, what the fuck? Here we go, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We like to up the ante every time.
Yeah, dude. Well, you definitely did on this one, man. But can you give the listeners out there a brief a rundown of like your history? You know, how did you get started, and how did this whole thing come together?
Well, back in 2015, WRETCHED formed a thrash metal band, and his goal was to make it as heavy and as aggressive as possible. They dropped a demo in 2018 and an EP in 2019, and then I joined in 2020. I said we should do a full-length album, done right, and the band agreed with the lineup at the time, and we did an album. 14 months later, we did another album, and then just under 2 years later, we did our third album, which just came out in September.
Hell yeah, man. You guys are just like shoveling albums out left and right, dude. Like fucking, it's crazy, man.
Same with live albums and documentaries and all kinds of goodies.
Yeah, I was gonna say that live record was badass too, man.
Well, thank you.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So how did you guys get hooked up with our buds at CDN Records, man?
Brad and I emailed literally dozens and dozens of labels, and CDN was the first to actually show enthusiasm. A lot of people weren't interested in the aggressive thrash, and Craig really liked our stuff. He thought we were from Germany, and he said, no way you guys are from Toronto.
Yeah.
If you're not signed, I'll sign you right now. He sent over a contract. We read the contract thoroughly, and it was very, very good, so we didn't hesitate signing it back.
That's funny that you mentioned that. Now that you mention it, makes me think like you definitely do have that German thrash metal sound. If there's, you know, I guess if you could say that, you know, but like it definitely brings to mind bands like Kreator and stuff like that. But you still have your own unique fucking sound too, man.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're definitely Teutonic influenced. Same with the South, like the South and Latin American scene. Bands like Sepultura, Volcano, Sarcophago, even stuff over in Switzerland like Celtic Frost. We love just proto-extreme metal is what we call it, you know.
Well, that brings me into my next question. I was going to ask, like, what are some of your influences growing up? What are some of the bands that really got you into metal and got you started, man?
That would be getting into, well, what kid's first, you know, metal band wasn't Metallica, right?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
So that's a big one. Slayer came a little after that, and then delving into there was some extreme metal, getting into bands like Napalm Death, and yeah.
That's how it goes, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, you know, like I've fucking interviewed fucking thousands of bands, dude, and I'd say 90% of the time, unless it's like a really, really old band that came from a long time ago, 90% of the time, man, Metallica is always fucking listed in there, man. It's one of those first, you know, I mean, they fucking opened up the gates, man. You know, like, Undeniable.
They did. They absolutely did.
Yeah. I remember being a little kid in the 80s, you know, watching MTV, Dial MTV, man. It was fucking, you know, there was Warrant and fucking Winger and all this shit, man. Everybody was fucking colorful and fucking hairspray, and they're smiling and laughing. They got chicks everywhere. And then Metallica comes on there with that video for One, and it's black and white. They're pissed off looking. The fucking music is just angry as fuck. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck is this, man? Just blew my mind, dude. Like, immediately went down to the record store and was fucking buying everything they had, man.
Yeah, they were the opposite of that. I think Tom Araya from Slayer said it best. The difference between Slayer and the glam bands was they wore makeup, and Slayer didn't know how to put makeup on. So they did, and they did.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, Slayer, they tried to put on makeup in the early days, but it was more of like a dark fucking, I don't know, they looked like they were coming out of the grave, you know, not necessarily coming out of a strip club.
Yeah, Sarcophago kind of perfected that pre-corpse paint look.
Hell yeah. So the band name Korrosive, how did you guys come up with that? Is there a story behind that?
Well, that's a good question. Sounded... I assume it sounded vicious. I think I asked Brad this once. I'm like, where'd the name Korrosive come from? He's like, well, you gotta spell it with a K to stand out. I'm like, sure you do. And kind of self-explanatory. It sounds thrash. It sounds like the name has to match the sound, and I think it does.
It does. It definitely does, man. When I first saw the name for the band and was listening to it, my first thought was Chemikill from Exodus, you know? I guess, you know, your brain fucking goes to from one to the other, you know, corrosive chemicals. But, yeah, man. It makes sense, dude, and it sounds thrashed, for sure.
That's the goal. Look and be as thrash as can be.
Hell yeah. So what's the local scene where you guys are from like, man? Is there a lot of thrash metal bands there, or you guys...
Not a lot, no. We played a show last week with Zero Tolerance. They're from Hamilton. They're mostly like 18, 19 kind of age range. They've been around for about a year now, and they're unapologetically thrash. They're pure thrash. They're very like mid 80s old school sounding, and that's about as close as you'll get for the Greater Toronto area. Raider was on that bill too. Raider's from the Kitchener-Waterloo scene. You know, Cambridge, Guelph, Kitchener-Waterloo, that whole scene there has, I'd say, an even bigger, more vibrant metal scene than Toronto in general. And Raider's just like straight death thrash. They're very heavy. They're unapologetically fast, like 16th notes out the wazoo. They're a killer band. We're very happy to open them. They're like real professionals too, like just a straight up pro band. Like they act and look and sound like a real band. They're on Redefining Darkness, so killer label. Like what do you expect from a band like that? You get what you see. Black Absence was also on that bill. They're more like they're interesting. Their sound, it's like trad metal with like death metal influences in the vocals in some of their songs, and a bit of doom as well, some like fuzziness. They got some groove. They're a ton of fun, so they fit that bill really well. And then another big band that's related to Raider is Invicta. They're like melodeath, but very thrashy melodeath, so they fit into the thrash kind of sound.
Yeah.
So that's mostly it for this kind of sound in the Toronto scene. There's a lot of like slam bands, brutal death metal, some tech death. Our bass player's the front man for Experiment Specimen. They're death metal, but like kind of proggy as well. Like pretty technical, somewhat proggy, real solid band. You have bands that also are on CDN Records, like Sentiment Dissolve. We played a few shows with them. They're fun, like goofy tech death. So our scene's pretty good. We got a pretty good scene here. It's not quite Montreal. You know, nothing can compete with Montreal, except for maybe Florida in the 90s, but yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of CDN Records, man, we got Craig on air with us as well, man, from CDN Records. Craig, can you tell us...
Left the interview, man.
He left?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are we doing this on Zoom, too, or what?
No, it's just Messenger.
All right.
Okay, well, fuck, I was going to ask him... Well, never mind. All good, man. So, well, fuck, dude. So what tell us about these videos that you guys been putting out, man, because you guys been putting out some killer fucking videos, man. Like, what's the process like with that? Like, how did you guys get some of these videos put together like that? And because, I mean, they're so professional looking, too, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the videos, like, you're talking about the live videos, right?
All of them, dude.
All of them. So the first video we ever shot was Burning Earth. That was in 2021. That was shot by my good friend Oliver Salathiel. Him and I played in a rock band together. We met in high school in 2012. He's a full-time cinematographer now. Our other friend, Michael Cow, it was shot on his camera. He was gaffer for that shoot. That was shot in the day, and the Cyborg is our producer. He produced 3 of our albums. That's Ben Erickson. It was shot on anamorphic in 8K. Literally looks like a movie. We were going for that, super sci-fi Terminator kind of look. And that set the bar. We're like, all right, this is our bar. We got to compete. So our second music video, something our vocalist Rad really wanted to do, was for Slaughter the Preacher. And that was done by Michael Yari Davidson. He shot Alice in Chains. That was shot in a nunnery on location with a whole crew. And yeah, that was all done in DCI 4K, professionally color graded. It was quite a cinematic masterpiece. Happy about. And we got our vocalist Rad right here. Rad, we're just talking about the Slaughter the Preacher video and all of our music videos so far.
What's up, Rad?
Hey.
What's going on, dude? Yeah, we were just talking about you guys' videos, man. You guys have some fucking killer videos, man.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for that. Sorry, I just joined in.
Oh, it's all good, dude. Glad to have you here, man.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, that was our second video, and then we did another one a few months later. That was for Fatal Strike. We wanted a more tightly knit, frenzied video, also by Michael Yari Davidson. And then in between, we shot a live concert that was Live Hellfire. We opened for Exciter, and that was in 2022. And that was all done by me. I directed the whole shooting of that, even while I was performing. I rented cameras, used cameras of my own because I'm a professional videographer. So we got 5 cameras, hired a crew, filmed it all, got the multi-tracks on the board. Our producer, Ben, mixed it, and I brought it home. I color graded it and edited it. And we did the same thing again a year later when we opened for Razor. We got 6 cameras for that one. And that was the same deal, directed by me, edited by me, audio mixed by Ben Erickson again. And we did a DVD out of it, so we combined both shows. You get 14 songs, 2 shows, and 1 DVD. We also did a making of Caustic Hordes documentary. Caustic Hordes is our first album. That was shot by Oliver Salathiel, who shot our first music video, and that was also edited and graded by me. Little Studio Diaries for Toxic Apocalypse was done by me as well. The music video for In the Name of Destruction was done by me. The music video for Hijo de Puta was done by me. So a lot of the video stuff and little promo things is all me. Same with band photos. A lot of the band photos were done by me as well. Dude. So I'm kind of the camera nerd in this band.
Dude, mad props to you for that shit, man, because I know that's a lot of fucking work, man. Fucking, yeah. We just got done doing the Tennessee Metal Devastation Music Fest down here this year, and we had a film crew out there, and I was watching all of them put things together like how they were doing it, man, with all the different camera angles and everything, and then then putting together the fucking sound shit, man. It's a lot of work, dude. It's a lot of work. A lot of people out there don't realize like how much work actually goes into that part of it, but it's a lot, man. So
yeah, it's pretty heavy on logistics. I was glad that we played our A game when we filmed both of those shows, because my mind is in two places at once. I'm in work mode trying to direct a film crew and take care of my gear. Yeah. And I also remember how to put on a show and play my songs.
Right? Hell yeah. Well, tell us about this fucking these album artworks, man, because one cool thing I've noticed about you guys always have this dude in a lot of your album covers, man. So it's like it's
our mascot.
Yeah. It's like your it's your Eddie, man. Fucking that's cool. What's the story behind this dude, man?
Well, we call him the man with the gun. So it's kind of like a Western sort of thing. This was born out of our former bassist's idea, Carlos, who played with a band in Caustic Hordes and Toxic Apocalypse. And, we were like shooting the shit, but, like figuring out what we would do for the first album, like Caustic Hordes. And, like thinking about like what theme, what sort of like, okay, we have this post-apocalyptic scenario, like what's happening here? There's like, is it like a zombie invasion? Is it like, aliens? And, what if it's like an end of the world thing where everything has gone to shit, and then there's this like lone gunman, and he's like, neither an protagonist or an antagonist. He's like, an anti-hero, just like, like roaming the wasteland sort of thing. So we went with it, and if you could like look at the Caustic Hordes design, which was like more simplistic in its fashion, we used a different artist for that. And, we went with it. Like, it's sort of a trilogy. When you look at the artwork from Caustic Hordes to Toxic Apocalypse and now Catastrophic Creation, you'll see there's like a storyline sort of thing. And when we went with Ed Repka for Toxic Apocalypse, like the fruition, the cohesiveness, and the like, it looked better in every aspect. Like there's now an actual face to it. Our man with the gun is now like a solid character, and we're using this mascot of ours, our very own Eddie, in all these albums. And when we come up with our fourth album, he's still gonna be there that's for sure.
That's cool as fuck, man. And Ed, you mentioned Ed Repka. Like I was just thinking, looking at these album covers right now, I was just thinking that kind of reminds me of his style. And then I didn't know that Toxic Apocalypse was done by him.
Oh, definitely. Jack, you want to talk about how we came about Toxic with Ed?
Yeah, dude. So, tell us about that.
It came from Rad's attitude, actually. It's like, what do we do? We're Korrosive. We go for the top. I'm like, okay, who's more top than Ed Repka? He's like, why not? I'm like, oh. Like, he kind of challenged me on that a bit. Like, it took me aback. It's like, oh, this guy's, like, serious about getting him. Okay. I know professionals. They don't care who you are. They just want your money. So we went on his website, and there's a contact form. We filled it out. And a good while later, probably a couple months later, he gets back to us saying, thank you for reading the FAQ. And our former bass player, Carlos, did some rough sketches. When he replied to us, we sent him the rough sketches and the ideas he had for this. So Carlos and I kind of worked on the design concept of that. I wanted some action and some violence in it to really match the music, because the goal with Toxic Apocalypse was the music has to be heavier. It's got to be faster, more aggressive, more brutal. And we achieved that goal. So when we did, well, the album art had to match, and a whole bunch of back and forth later, we said we wanted super detailed fronts and a super detailed, unique back cover, which is especially visible on the vinyl. And we had to pay for t-shirt rights, so it was a very expensive PayPal transfer later, and several months later.
I can imagine.
He took a very long time. Like, we emailed him while we were writing the album. We had the album half written, and we emailed him saying we want album art. Because a lot of bands, what they'll do is they'll have the album art done, and then the album art is inspiration, where they write music to match the cover. And I like that a lot. But we finished writing the album. We didn't even have the rough sketch. So I remember this clear as day. I'm recording rhythm guitar for Toxic Apocalypse, and then my phone vibrates and I see email from Ed Repka. I'm like, it's done. And I call up Rad. I'm like, Rad, you got to come to the studio and see this. So there's a picture of Rad with his first reaction pointing at the screen.
Yeah. I remember that day. That was fun. That was fun.
So we had to make lightning strike twice, and we did it again. And a deal between Rad and I was like, okay, Jack, you direct the artwork for Toxic. I'm going to take over for Catastrophic. And I said, all right.
Hell yeah, man. That's fucking badass, dude. Yeah, man. Fucking, that guy's a legend, dude. Like, I mean, you know, fucking Peace Cells, dude. What the fuck?
First Death albums.
Yeah, dude. I mean, fuck, man. There's like his resume is thick, for sure, man.
And it's kind of like that's part of the reason why we also went with the Repka artwork. It's kind of like, you know, those with a discerning eye will know, like, this artwork is Ed Repka, and it's not only about marketing; it's about like a challenge, right? Like when people see the artwork, it's like there's a 1,000 albums that you'll see in a record store or an online store, and you know, if something stands out just because of the artwork, because you won't hear what the band is about, like just by looking at their artwork. But when you look at Ed Repka, you know it's either, you know, it's most certainly going to be thrash first and foremost, but not necessarily, but you know, kind of like that, leaning that direction. But it's also like a challenge. Like, okay, these guys got Repka to do their artwork, but are they good? Let's give it a listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that thing. It's like we're like, you know, maybe, you know, we're as good as we say, or you think, or other people think we are, and there's the artwork. So you be the judge. Like, are we worthy of Ed Repka? You know what I mean?
Can they live up to the fucking name? Yeah.
Exactly, right?
For sure.
So far, so good.
Well, you guys do, man. You definitely do in my book, man. Fucking for sure, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. But another thing I wanted to ask you about, one of my favorite fucking YouTubers, Glenn Fricker, man. I watch his channel all the fucking time, and I saw on one of his episodes recently, he was doing some reviews of cameras and shit, and he had you guys on there, man. You guys were on there as like something he was doing with photography, man. Can you tell us how that happened?
So, I work for him. I'm his video editor.
No shit.
Yep.
What the fuck?
So, here's a little small world bit. So, Craig from CDN, he knows Glenn Fricker from the 80s, like that far back. And he knows Michael Yari Davidson, who shot 2 of our music videos from the 80s.
So they all go way back.
So Craig from CDN and Michael, the cinematographer, they were in a band together. And Michael also shot the 2 live DVDs as well. He was the tripod camera op. So there's a bit of a, you know, small world way back there. So that was the connection where Glenn asked me, hey, Jack, do you know any bands who want some free photos taken for a YouTube video? I said, guys, make yourselves available this date at this time. And they did. That was in September of 2023 when we had Peter. He was our live bassist at the time, so he's in that video as well. That video took a long time to come out because Glenn had to shoot some other parts. So I was actually behind the camera filming that section, which is why I'm not in front of the camera, because I had to film. So that's how we got our little shout out there. That video was edited by me as well, and I did a little compilation bit in that video, and I used the song Chaos Unbound, which was unreleased at the time, because I wanted a thrash metal backing track for a thrash metal band. And I thought, wait a minute, I own the copyright to this song. He's not going to get in trouble for this. So I did. And yeah, that's about it. I'm his editor. Some hard news though. A couple days ago, some tragedy struck with his family. He's in the hospital with his family, attending to his wife, and he's kind of pumping the brakes on YouTube right now. So I'm just waiting on updates, and we all are.
Yeah. You know, I just saw him post something about that on Facebook the other day. He posted something and he said, you know, something about some kind of tragedy just happened. He didn't go into detail or anything, but I was wondering, like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's related to his wife. And he didn't give me permission to share details, so I won't spill it. But he's fine. His wife isn't. So we're just all kind of hoping for the best right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. Fucking love that guy, man. He's a
genuinely great dude. I love seeing him.
Yeah. You know what? He has talked me into buying so much fucking different shit. I can't even tell you, man.
That's
like, you know, he just all the time, dude, fucking showing different things, like what you can do with on a budget, you know, like how you can get really good sounds and get the things that you're looking for without fucking going crazy, man. He's definitely a very important part of the whole modern fucking music world, man. You know, like in my opinion, I think, you know, definitely.
Actually, it's because of Glenn I joined Korrosive, if we go really way back. So I was in a metalcore band when I was 16, and then when I was 17, I got to know him to become his friend and plan to do an album. That metalcore band dissolved and turned into a death metal band. I did an album with him. The band was called Vias. And then he was doing a music video shoot for the folk metal band Protocult that he did a few records with. And I ended up joining Protocult on guitar. And they got a drummer at the same time that I joined. And that drummer ended up joining Korrosive. And that drummer asked me to join Korrosive. So that drummer is Kave. And I'm literally in Korrosive due to that. So that's the domino effect Glenn Fricker has with Korrosive. So these 3 albums are inadvertently because of him. Because I was scrolling through Facebook when I was 16 and I saw a video about like how bass players suck. I'm like, oh, he's kind of right.
Yeah. He cracks me up, dude. Like he holds no punches, man. He don't give a fuck, man. He just tells it.
That's right.
He's cool, man. But yeah, man.
Oh, you should ask this question to Rad. You asked me, where did the band name Korrosive come from?
Yeah, tell us, Rad.
Fuck, I don't even know, man. I'm coming up on 10 years with this band. I think, I do remember now. So, you know, with the old members of Korrosive, like, you know, and it was formed like in 2015. So I was having like a shooting the shit moment with these guys, and I'm like, all right, so I want to do thrash. I'm a thrash guy through and through, and so I said I want to have a band name that's like blistering and it's like face melting. You know, like people will know what to expect when they just like read the band name and whatnot. And like, you know, I was like talking to the drummer, and I was like something like corroded, something like that, and he said like, what about Korrosive? And I'm like, fuck yeah. And we do it with a K, so it's, you know, something different, and just stuck with it, and here we are almost 10 years later.
That's fucking badass, dude. What about the logo? How did you guys come up with that, man? Who did that shit?
So again, with the old members, it was just like it was very rudimentary. It was like it wasn't like finely shaped or like polished. And then I had, you know, just like a rough. Like if anybody ever has like the very first Korrosive T-shirt, you can see the vast difference in the design. And after that, it was like, I believe it was both Carlos or Kave who, you know, fine-tuned it. Actually, I rescind that. I'm so sorry. It wasn't Carlos or Kave. I had a guy, a contact of mine, Logan in Australia, who he designs like shirts and albums as well. He was responsible for the EP that's not in circulation, the Melting From Within guy, and he designed like this sort of like guy who's like, melting from within, literally. And he offered to like fine tune the Korrosive logo and fix the lines and make the edges more sharper and everything. And that's it. That's the logo we have to this very day.
It's fucking badass. I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, you can't miss it. It's easy to read, and right away you get the fucking message. Like, you understand. Yeah. You definitely understand.
It hits the sweet spot, right? Like with the design and everything, the sharp edges. Oh, it's metal, but it's also legible. So it's not like one of those like fucking, you can't read like metal band logos. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like here, twigs and shit.
Yeah.
So we're pretty proud of that logo. So yeah, well, I reckon we'll stick with it for quite a while.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah! You got to stick with the logo, man. Don't change the logo, because
don't be like Sepultura or something.
No, don't do like Metallica did in the fucking in the late '90s when they changed their logo, man. Everybody was pissed off about that shit. Remember that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Can you really blame them? Anything, man. What band was doing thrash in the mid '90s? Right. Sodom went death metal in the '90s.
Yeah.
Well, even Testament, right? Like before they came out with The Gathering, they had Demonic Refusal, which was like more deathy in a way, if I'm not mistaken. You're right, Jack. Whatever.
Yeah, nobody was like, you had to change. You had to get with it, and I get it. You know, with a societal gun to your head, like, Anthrax went alt rock, and I guess Exodus did as well. So everyone's shitting on Metallica for doing that, but like, that was a smart move. That was a very smart move. They're not going to Ride the Lightning 2 in 1995. It's just not going to sell.
No.
And they got the most flack because they had the biggest shift and they were the biggest band. So
yeah, it's funny. I think the biggest flack that they got was because they cut their hair and they changed the logo. It wasn't the sound. The record still kicked ass. Load and Reload, I still like that shit. But yeah, everybody was mad because they just cut their hair and they fucking changed the logo, and it's like,
yeah.
What the fuck, man.
It's the aesthetics of it all.
But it makes sense when you look back on it. Like, if you try to imagine it with the sharp lightning bolt fucking logo, maybe it wouldn't have looked right. But they came back to it, though. They came back to it,
Correct.
Now they're using it again. They're fucking still the fucking biggest fucking metal band in the fucking world, man. What the fuck?
I know.
The Black Album's still selling millions of records fucking every week, dude. Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck doesn't own that record already, man? It's crazy.
I still like that album.
Yeah, dude, it's badass. I mean, how can you not like it? But like, yeah, it's funny to me though. Like, every week, it's still on the charts, man. It's crazy.
Yes, there's something about that album that resounds with a lot of people. Like, they're not even like metalheads, and like I was watching this thing on fucking, I don't know, Instagram. And it was like, I didn't even know this, but just like, this was literally last week, like Elton John praising Nothing Else Matters.
Yeah,
like the way it was written, like musically, and he's just saying like Metallica's not just like a metal band, but they're like creative geniuses and shit. So it hits people from all walks of life, and that's just like a fucking amazing thing that nobody can ever take away from Metallica. You create an album, and decades fucking later, it still sells millions of records. But like, what the fuck? How does that happen?
Yeah, for sure, man.
So I guess like they could come out with a dozen other loads or reloads and shave off their head, and you know what? Fuck you. We've done everything. You can't take that away from us. So we could come out with a polka record, and you can just like fuck off.
And they can do whatever the fuck they want, man.
Exactly.
We did an interview a couple of years ago where this guy asked, he's like, will Korrosive ever do clean singing? We're like, no. Are you sure? Never say never. I'm like, we're saying never right now.
Yeah, I don't think I can do clean. If I ever did, that would be quite interesting. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of obviously a lot of metal bands do clean, but I don't think that's something that.
If we did,
Korrosive
it would be like Napalm Death or something.
Yeah,
Where it's like very specific, and it's like once in a blue moon.
yeah, but no.
Honestly, yeah. Like I don't want to like sit down and waste time on something that we might not be good at.
Like, here's the thing: like the way Korrosive writes, if we're gonna get into that shit, it's like think about like what you said. Like, oh, will Korrosive do clean? Like, we're not gonna sit around and like, hey guys, let's try a song and do it clean. No, we just write and see what happens after. We're not gonna build a song out of an idea just to see if it works, But the way that we've done it is like, okay, I got an idea, let's do this. Holy shit, it actually worked. It's fucking amazing. Yeah.
So there's no plans of any ballads coming out anytime soon. Like,
I don't fucking think so, bud.
Oh.
But hey, you know what? Wait, you know what? Let's see in the future, and then you play this back and say, "Hey, Jack, Rad, you heard about what you said? Like, you said no. Well, fuck you. You came out with a ballad."
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man.
We'll see, man.
I won't get mad at you, dude. I'll fucking play it, man. But yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah, man. You got to do what you feel. Like that's what it's all about.
Correct.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of that, what do you guys have coming up for us in the future, man? What are the kind of things you have in the fucking pipeline?
Well, we have a live album. I guess I can reveal it here. It's called Caustic in the Capitol. That'll be out next year.
Nice.
It was the first time Korrosive played Ottawa. We played our debut album front to back.
Hell yeah.
And it was mixed by our producer, Ben Erickson. So it's a quality release. Definitely one for the fans.
Hell yeah. And that'll be on CDN Records?
Yep.
Absolutely, man.
Fuck yeah.
Everything we do, it comes out through CDN Records, man. They've been so fucking good to us.
Yeah, they're bad.
Craig's been the man. Like, we really, really struck gold with him. Like, and we told him straight up, like, look, you've never signed a band like Korrosive. And that was kind of wind to the guys. Like, all right, we gotta hustle. And I think we have.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Craig's fucking awesome, man. I wish he would have stayed on the line with us, man. But I understand.
I'm not surprised.
He probably was like, "What the fuck? This isn't." He probably didn't.
I'm not surprised he had to go. One of the very first things he ever said to me was, "If you're gonna call me, and do it in the early morning or the afternoon, because he's not a night owl. He goes to bed very early."
Yeah. Well, he's a busy guy, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Metal doesn't pay. He's got a day job like the rest of us.
Correct. He does this out of pure fucking love.
Yeah, he does,
just
man.
like us.
Well, for all the people out there listening, man, where's the best place for them to go to support Korrosive and buy some music, buy some merch, whatever?
Well, like we discussed, the first place you should go to is like the CDN Records website, and alternately our Korrosive Bandcamp. Jack, care to elaborate?
So CDN has, I would argue, better shipping worldwide rates. Actually, not worldwide rates. Our Bandcamp, we do ship worldwide. CDN, you're likely going to get a better deal if you live in Canada or the U.S., especially Canada. Shipping is a lot cheaper ordering through CDN there. And T-shirts and stickers, 100% on Bandcamp. That's an Bandcamp or shows is the only way you can get a T-shirt from Korrosive. CDN is great for bundle deals. You really can't go wrong with either.
Yeah.
And we have distributors worldwide, which is a blessing thanks to CDN.
Yeah, CDN allowed us to reach places we never thought we would reach. like Jack, we just got an order yesterday from like a different European country that I've never seen an order for, like Malta.
Malta, really?
Yeah, Malta. Like I was asking somebody, it's like Malta. This is like a fucking. I've never even seen like somebody from Malta order from us, but like we're reaching places because of like, you know, CDN and everything. And,
I see it here.
Right, yeah. Malta, right?
Catastrophic Creation vinyl to Malta.
Hell yeah!
Right. Yeah, that's all because of CDN, man. Like all the deals that Craig makes, like with distribution and whatnot. You know, besides the good old United States and like our, you know, German brothers and sisters, and even in Japan, like we're reaching places that have metal fans, man. It's a truly fucking amazing thing.
Man, speaking of reaching places, dude, when you guys gonna come down to Tennessee and play, man?
Well, we're actually playing Brooklyn next year.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
New York.
We got
in August.
Yeah, but that's not Tennessee though, man.
I know. like, hey, we're taking
America. It's close enough.
You know, I mean, but that's
cool.
You know, that's another step we gotta take, man. Like,
will that be
a tour?
Will that be your first time in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're kind of like the Elvis of metal, you know, like never left the country and everything.
Right.
Yeah, that was funny because different.
We have reasons for prioritizing doing music over gigging and touring. It's
absolutely
the cost and logistics. It's like it's time and effort and money. So we're not doing it. We toured Alberta in the last summer, and we played Ottawa for the second time and Montreal for the first time a couple months ago. And it's on our scope to expand, hence why we're playing New York. And our goal is to play the U.S. way more often and tour it full on.
Correct.
But with what we can do right now is not slow down the writing train, because albums last forever. So
correct.
There's a bit more priority on writing music and making sure it's quality, a full-length record that people can go out and digest at any time, because a show will come and go, but it's not something you can avoid. You have to play shows. You got to tour. And so getting our feet wet and slowly getting deeper into the water of gigging further outside of our hometown is something we're steadily doing, and happy to have done that with Alberta, happy to have done that with Ottawa and Montreal, and we're super, super stoked to go across the border and play Brooklyn, because first of all, we'd love to play Tennessee and Texas specifically, music capitals of the United States right there.
Hell yeah. Well, we would love to see you guys, man. So if it ever happens, let me know, dude, and I'll try to make it there, man.
For sure.
Well, I'm about out of questions for you guys. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
No. Jack, anything?
To the people who say our third album's production is not clean enough, try again.
What the fuck? Who the fuck said that shit, man?
A few people complained that the production was a little rough.
That's fucking ironic.
Get
dude,
the fuck out of here.
No, because that's funny, because like this album cost us way more than Toxic, and actually was in a studio that had like better equipment than Toxic, and that's just funny to me right now that people have said that.
This record is the cream of the crop, dude, and this is one of my picks for thrash metal album of the year, man. 2024 for sure, man.
Thank you so much, Zach, man.
Thank you, man. We're going to be writing a fourth album sooner than you think, so we're not slowing down at all.
Hell yeah, man. All right, well, before I let you guys go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick?
Absolutely. Brad?
Sure. What do you want me to say, man?
Whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Korrosive, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
Okay, sure. Hey, this is Korrosive, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us, man. Really appreciate it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Korrosive for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
All right. Oh, yeah.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later, man. Cheers.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you so much, Zach. You have a
Good night,
wonderful
guys.
night.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Later.
There you have it, folks. Korrosive live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your neighbor's driveway. If you're living in the basement, duct tape your speakers to the ceiling. If you're in the attic, point your speakers at the floor. If you're in the back of a fucking Uber car or a fucking bus or a taxi, take your earbuds out and crank your fucking cell phone as loud as it'll fucking go, man. Don't fucking stop until you see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, man. I'm telling you what. Crank it the fuck up loud as a fuck.